Hi, and welcome to the Floyd Guide to Passing the Politics exam. Now, this is for the Edexcel AS Unit 1 paper. Hopefully the skills will be fungible for use in other papers and other exam boards are available, but don't come moaning to me if it turns out that it's not relevant for your exam because you're not doing the Edexcel AS Unit 1. Anyway, enough of that. Let's push on with what it means to do the politics exam Edexcel Unit 1. This is the People and Politics paper, how people interact with the state, and it covers these 4 areas. Now remember those because we're going to see them in a second. You've got 80 minutes and you've got 80 marks, so do the maths, 1 mark per minute. Now, this is what the paper looks like, and in case you didn't believe me, here you can see 80 minutes and 80 marks. Now, you'll remember that we looked at those we saw those four areas earlier. Well, here they are. This is democracy. This is pressure groups. This is parties, and this is elections. So each topic will come up. Each topic will come up, and it will come up in this structured form: 5, 10, and 15 marks. And each of these questions is asking a slightly different skill. However, before we go into that, let's talk about the most important skill, which is planning. And this is the key thing here. The better you plan, the more you plan, the less you will have to write. And that's because no one is expecting you to deliver an essay. No one is expecting to deliver you a coherent piece, a coherent piece with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Certainly not in the AS Unit 1, to a certain extent in the AS Unit 2, and certainly at A2. But right now, we are looking really less for essays than we are looking for a series of related points. Whatever your exam, however, you will find that you have 2 limited resources, your time and your knowledge. And you cannot make profitable use of both without a plan. You simply won't. These exams are designed to put you under time pressure, and the better you manage that time, the better your final mark would be. And I'm sorry, it's a dreadful cliche, but failure to plan is planning to fail. And there is a reason it's a cliche because it's true. So, why plan? So you can write less, so you can make better use of your time and your knowledge. Now let's explore exactly what it is that they want you to do. As I said, there are 3 different questions: A questions, B questions, and C questions, and each of them are asking for a subtly different skill, and each of them requires a subtly different answer. So we can see here, outline 2 ways. That's really a definition question. What is pluralist democracy? Definition. Outline 2 ways, outline 2 functions of elections. This is really just rote learning. We then move on to a B question. This is essentially, how does something work, or how does it not work? Explain 3 criticisms. Explain 3 reasons why pressure groups fail. Explain the difference between left wing and right wing. Explain the workings of electoral systems, mechanics. How do these things work? And look, 3 points. They even make it evident for you. 3 there and 3 there. And they don't do that one there. 3 electoral systems, I think I've got under there. Yeah, there I go, 3. You'd even almost think I knew what I was doing. So that's your A questions and your B questions, and they are very, very simple. It's really just a delivery of 3 points for a 10 question, 2 points for an A question. Evaluation, this is tricky. You're being asked to evaluate and often assess the advantages. To what extent? To what extent? Assess the strengths. So generally speaking, you'll have 3 points on one hand and 3 points on the other. And each of these questions, as I say, asks a different skill, but they're answered broadly in the same way by this delivery of points. So it's probably incumbent upon me to explain exactly what a point is. What is a point? Well, a point is 3 things. First of all, it's an idea. You'll have an idea in response to the question. You then need to explain what that idea is, and you also need to present evidence. Now, the evidence should ideally be used to enhance the explanation, not simply tacked on at the end, like some sort of go faster strut. So we're moving away from the idea of examples, and instead we are looking at the principle. We're looking at the principle of evidence, of using a point to explain your idea, not simply something of absolutely no functional use whatsoever. What we're looking at here is something that is going to help you to answer the question. So what does a good answer look like? Well, first of all, we talked about making a plan. You've got to make a plan. If you make a plan, then you can afford to leave a line between your points and that will allow you to balance your answer properly. So ideally, an A and a B question is going to look like this. 2 points for an A question, both the same size. 3 points for a B question, both of those the same size. And of course, a C question is just going to be that plus, or that rather, times 2, probably with a modest conclusion just at the end, in conclusion. Not much more than that. So that's ideally what a good question, what a good response will look like, because what you want is something that the examiner can look at and say, ah, yeah, there's 2 points there, hurrah, and there's 3 points here, and there's 6 points here. They get it. And an examiner, a happy examiner, is an examiner who is more inclined to give you good marks, and you will write less if you follow this particular plan. And nobody wants to be wading through huge chunks to see, are there 2 points in here? I'm going to have to wade through this, and that's going to be horrible. And what about this? Well, it's clearly an unbalanced answer, and an unbalanced answer is a lead indicator of a student who is not on top of the game. So we're looking for balance, we're looking for nice structures, we're looking for less writing, so the point is evident, and do that and everyone is going to be happy. Now, let's just talk about what this should look like generally. This is a mechanic, this is a definition question. What is a bicycle? How does a bicycle work? Which is better, a car or a bike? So this is definitions, definitions here, mechanics here, and evaluation here. And what you're really looking to do is just to expand each of those individual points into a full answer with your explanation and your evidence. Now, let's talk a little bit about evidence, and there are 3 key reasons why we use evidence. The first is that it's an examined skill. You can't access the top tiers of marks without clear reference to the real world and evidence from the real world. You can also use the evidence to support and enhance your point. Now, I made this earlier. What you don't want to be using is for example, because that's going to tee you up for a go faster stripe. What we want to say is, as we can see in, or this is evident in, and then that will lead you into using the evidence constructively rather than just tacking it on at the end of your question. And the third reason why we use evidence is that it's a fail-safe. If you haven't got any evidence, you probably haven't got a valid point, so scrap that point and try to find another one. Here's a little bit about using evidence, the difference between a go faster stripe and proper use. The go faster stripe, well, here we go. One functional election, select representative, for example, David Cameron as an MP. It doesn't really help as much. We look at this one and we can see that even in the use of the evidence, they've enhanced their explanation. Both of these carry more or less the same information. It's just that here, that information has been put to better work. Make the evidence work for you, and your answer will become much more efficient and clearer. In terms of what represents valid evidence, well, current is 2015 to now, recent 2020 to now, 97 to now is relevant, acceptable 79 to now. They're not going to rule out any relevant or any kosher evidence, but obviously you're up against people who can come up with all their evidence from this particular area, and because this is a politics exam and not a history exam, that is going to be more impressive. Although there are certain things where you do have to go back and root around in dim and distant mists of time. And that's it. The next presentation is going to be on passing the Politics Unit 2 exam, and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye now.